Many times, a lot of people underestimate the power and the place of singlehood. A lot of times, people spend their single years just waiting. Some people think it is a burden instead of understanding that singlehood is a blessing and not a burden. Singlehood was never intended by God to be a burden but a blessing. And so, in knowing this, one is able to take maximum advantage and use of his or her single years, rather than just fantasizing and hoping for connection quickly and getting out of singlehood without first maximizing the blessings and the benefits in it. Lots of people fantasize and dream of the beauties of being wrapped in the arms of a person, of being in a loving relationship and marriage. But many fail to realize that the only way and possibility of such a dream materializing is when they spend their single years in preparation for this dream. In life, my friend, opportunities only is taken advantage of by people who are prepared. When opportunity meets with you in your prepared state, then the miracle can happen. For the Bible says, time and chance, that is to say opportunity, happens to all. We must remember that it is the preparations and preparedness of Saul that made him to be able to be chosen and ascend to the throne as Israel's first king. It was the preparedness of a shepherd boy, staying prepared, not as a shepherd boy, but actually as a man, when God confirmed that he had found a man, that made him to become the longest lasting king of Israel, King David. It was, my friend, the preparedness of our father Adam that made it possible for him to be ready to receive the woman of his life, the person of Eve. It is preparation, my friend, that would make you become qualified to be able to meet the need of another person when we say we have become a help meet for him or her. Singlehood, my friend, is a place and a time of preparation. And the reason why some people never find someone sometimes or are unable to find anyone is because they do not fit into anyone, because they were never preparing or prepared for that stage of their life. It's one thing to fantasize, it's another thing to prepare, my friend, to be a help, fit, and meet for someone else. Beloved, just because a fruit is in a tree does not mean it is ready to be eaten. Just because an orange fruit is in a tree does not mean it's time. Sometimes there has to be preparations. It has to ripen. It has to become edible. Beloved, it takes time, and that is what singlehood is for. Singlehood is for pruning, is for polishing, is for preparing, is for ripening, so that at the appropriate time, one can be able to meet the need of another. We can be ripe enough to satisfy someone. We would already be worked on so much so that we can fit perfectly into another person's side. Beloved, because marriage is supposed to be a complementing thing where one person complements another and they make a perfect fit and match, where a missing part of an entire puzzle become found and they are joined together in unity to complete the piece. Beloved, the Bible is full of examples of people who were prepared and took time in preparation until the day of their meeting up with the one who they eventually settled with. Today, to begin, I want to give an example from the life of our beloved sister in the person of Esther, and the amount of preparations that she put into herself and that was put into her in preparation for one day that changed her life. One day, she was able to be chosen to become queen, to become the wife of the greatest man who lived in that time. But the journeys that led up to that day were many years of investment, of preparation for marriage, when she was still single. Just as in the day of Esther, there were many women, intelligent, beautiful, well-mannered, beautiful shapes and curves, women of excellent beauties, but she stood out for her king. It is one thing for you to have many things happening in you, with you, and all around you. It's another thing to be prepared for your man, for your woman, for your king, and for your queen. Today, my friend, I want to introduce you to the relevance and the importance of staying prepared so that Even on one time, first contact, it is possible to be identified by your king or queen. Beloved, singlehood is a blessing, not a burden. It is a time for preparation and not a time of just waiting and doing nothing. Is it possible to see someone for the first time and be able to tell that, yes, this is that person? This is the one. This is my future king. This is my future queen. Is it possible to meet someone one time and know with so much certainty, even if you have to be apart for certain years, and even if you do not see each other again, but you know that you know? The answer is yes. And this answer is made possible by preparations to know it when we see it. And like in this familiar story of Queen Esther, we know that before her there was a queen in the person of Vashti who reigned in the life of the people and of the king. But when Queen Vashti was removed and deposed from office because of her failures, there became a vacuum, a space in the life of the king that needed to be filled up by the right candidate. Beloved, there is always a vacuum. Preparing to be able to fill a vacuum in the life of another man or woman is very important. Staying prepared so that we will be able to fit in and find our better halves is crucial. Even though there were many applications from different kinds of women from across the world, of different looks, heights, and complexions, there was something about the preparation that Esther had that ushered her and made her to be the preferred one over all others. Beloved, my prayer for you is that you will be able to know how to prepare for the meeting you will have with your king who is looking out for his queen. My prayer is that you will be prepared enough to identify and be identified. When a king is looking out for his queen, he is looking out for the queen in you. And when a queen is looking out for a king, she is looking out for the king that is in you. Singlehood, my friend, is not just a time to float. It's not just a time to just let pass by. It's a time instead to work on the inner content, to prepare the king in you, to prepare the queen in you, to prepare yourself and work on your inner content. Marriage, my friend, is a place of giving. It's a place where the royalty inside of you is supposed to be brought to bear, where we must be ready to give in to our king and the queens of our lives. Beloved, we see that Esther had a chance in this because she was trained and prepared and mentored by Mordecai. She was well brought up a long time even before her wedding. She had been trained as a woman in the years of her singlehood. And when she finally got involved in the context, she was trained and mentored by the eunuch who knows the king very well. She was trained as a good and perfect replacement to Queen Vashti. She was trained to be different and better. Beloved, are you being trained as a single right now? Are you even being trained and preparing and perfecting yourself even if you are already in a marriage? Beloved, preparedness is the key to success in relationships. Are you, my friend, allowing yourself to be mentored? Do you have someone who is training you, who has all the interest to make you into a king or a queen? Do you allow someone? Are you listening to somebody who can train you to become the better you, who has no interest in your downfall, and who is not out there to take advantage of you for their own gains, but actually ready to pour out and to invest into you so that you can be the best that you can be, both for yourself, for your spouse, and for your world? Are you being mentored by books? Are you preparing? Are you consuming content that can help you prepare for your marriage and for your spouse? Are you reading books? Are you learning? Are you attending conferences? Are you developing yourself for this very important area of your life, marriage? We must realize that in the life of Esther, her mentorship helped her. She listened to the counsel of the eunuch as it pertains to how she dressed. She dressed the way he advised. She took a bath even the way he advised. She applied perfumes that he recommended. She dressed certain ways. She listened to him and it changed her life. Are you, my friend, being mentored? Are you listening to the right person? Are you talking to someone who can help you? In fact, the Bible makes us to understand, and this is very crucial, that all these times While she was being mentored, she was yet to meet with the king. But she listened to his right-hand man, who prepared her so that when she meets the king, she would be the preferred of all. Sometimes, my friend, we only get one chance in life, and enough preparation must be put into it, because that one moment can determine everything. In the case of Esther, it was one night with the king that was going to change everything. One encounter, he was going to make his choice. When he saw her, my friend, God is calling you to put enough preparations for the things which you desire and dream of. Sometimes in life, my friend, you will not know the coming of the king. And this is why it's important to constantly stay prepared, to prepare yourself, for you do not know when you will meet him or her, when you will meet the person that you have so much desires for. Therefore, my friend, let us, as a habit, prepare ourselves consistently for the right thing. That is why in Esther, the 2nd chapter, the 16th verse, the Bible says, "So Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti." Beloved, it is preparation that grants us coronation. It is preparation that will usher you to your crown, as it did with Esther. God is calling us today to stay prepared for our marriage while we are yet single. It is preparation that grants us ascension. As we see, the king was quick to know what he wanted. He saw her and he stopped interviews. He stopped taking more applications. He says, "This is the person I want," and such was our ascension. My prayer for you, beloved, is that God will help you to stay prepared even in your days as a single, and to continue being prepared even in marriage. God bless you.